I'm Talia Landry with another MashpeeTV news update. Lieutenant Governor Polito has made an appearance at Mashpee Town Hall to meet with town officials to sign the Community Compact.
When Governor Baker signed the executive order to create the community cabinet, he appointed the lieutenant governor in charge of that cabinet. And what it really did is it put an emphasis on the relationship between the Commonwealth of Massachusetts and the cities and towns. And one of the programs under the community cabinet is the Compact program, which today the Lieutenant Governor will be signing a community compact here in the town of Mashpee for the town of Mashpee to focus on updating some of its human resource functions, like its policies and procedures and wage studies, and also its emergency management plan. With that compact signature comes some grant money to assist the town in utilizing best practices and sharing those best practices with other cities and towns that are doing the same best practice across Massachusetts. So in the short term, this agreement that will be signed today will invest in those two areas in Mashpee, but in the long term, this will make Mashpee eligible to get priority points on other state grants. There are information technology grants and other technical resources that are available from the administration that only communities that have signed community compacts are eligible for. So this will give Mashpee a leg up with future resources and allow them to perfect again those human resource practices now, as well as updating the emergency management plan.
I just want to say thank you for having me here in Mashpee once again. Thank you to the representative, to our local officials. You are correct, both Charlie and I served as selectmen in our respective hometowns, and it was that experience that really helped to inform us when we took office as governor and lieutenant governor about how to strengthen the relationship between state government and local government. And we wanted to just introduce right out of the box with our first executive order that we meant that, and that this was not going to be an administration that would dictate the terms for our cities and towns from Beacon Hill, but it would be the other way around, that the cities and towns that comprise our Commonwealth would be empowered to be able to tell us as an administration what they need for their future. So the Community Compact program, it emanates from that thinking, and it's clearly a voluntary program. It's not a mandate, and it's a funded program. So it's completely the opposite of an unfunded mandate. It's a voluntary, funded, best practices program. I mean, we all know, whether it's government or private business or a nonprofit, there are always better ways to deliver service. We are constantly evaluating our state agencies and programs and trying to figure out how we can do things better. So we wanted to give the cities and towns of this Commonwealth a menu of options in 10 subject areas, from education to the environment, from transportation to housing, about 140 best practices to consider and think about what it is that you as a community want to work on. So you convene in a room like this, you have the conversation, you think about your future, and you sign up for the best practices that you've chosen. And then we fund the best practice by granting you dollars to secure a consultant to help you, or providing you the technical assistance in our administration to embed the best practice into your local governance. For you to think about how to look at your human resource functions, job descriptions, wage classifications is very important, especially at a time when we have in Massachusetts a very low unemployment rate, a robust economy. It's hard to find people to join municipal government for work. So you're trying to make it as attractive as possible here in Mashpee to attract people to the right jobs as they're described with the associated wage for that job. On a related note, our administration is beginning a work group working with our academic partners to figure out how we can create a pipeline of talent, people who will serve in municipal government. Of course, with this economy booming in Massachusetts, more are gravitating toward the private sector, and we want to make municipal service and government service worthy and more of an option for many people. So we look forward to working with you on that best practice. Obviously, emergency response responsiveness is critical. It's job number one for all of us to ensure the public's safety. To your chiefs, to your emergency responders, we thank the men and women who wear the uniform every day and protect and serve this community and those across our Commonwealth, and we appreciate your working with them to update your emergency responses here in Mashpee. I also want to credit Mashpee for working sort of on a regional basis. There are wastewater and water management issues, thinking about how to create the right kinds of housing for workforce development here in the greater Mashpee area. You're in a unique part of the state where your population soars in these seasonal months, but yet you have a year-round population that needs to make sure that they have great schools and good jobs and a healthy and safe community as well. So your lucky number is 292. That is now the number of communities that have signed into the Community Compact program out of our 351 cities and towns. So I think it shows that the program is working, that there's something for every community to work on, whether you're rural or urban or suburban, and no matter where you're situated in the Commonwealth, from the islands to the Berkshires, the whole Commonwealth is plugging in to this best practices program and is helping our administration strengthen the Commonwealth through its cities and towns and the grassroots of our state. Finally, this is not just a one-way agreement. We at the state level, as the representative described, need to live up to our end of the bargain as well and be a reliable partner when it comes to funding for local aid or schools or Chapter 90 dollars for your roads and your sidewalks and your potholes and your streets. And we have demonstrated in our budgets, both operational-wise and capital-wise, our commitment to the cities and towns. Further, there's just an opportunity now, being a member of the Community Compact, to take advantage of our IT grant program, take advantage of our Complete Streets grant program, or the Parks grant, or MassWorks. There are a lot of other state resources that can be made available to this community because you are now a member of the Community Compact. So congratulations, thank you, and let's keep working together for the benefit of the people that we commonly serve.
This is a great presentation. We're very happy to have you here.
Okay. Thank you very much. I'm happy to be here with all of you. Thank you. Thank you very much. And I obviously here with my colleague in government, Representative Vieira. Perhaps you'd like to say a few words. You've got a great representative here who is very in tune with municipal issues and is very articulate, whether it's on the House floor, debating policy and budgets, or bringing forward to our administration and our cabinet of secretaries the priorities for this area of our state. So with that, I'm pleased and honored to be here with all of you and Representative Vieira.
Well, thank you, Lieutenant Governor. I want to say that one of the things that impressed me most with the Lieutenant Governor was when I was appointed to the Municipal Modernization Conference Committee, which was a piece of legislation that they called In the Weeds, right? It was those details of things that make running cities and towns a little bit easier for selectmen and town managers. I got appointed at like 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and by 4:30 I get a call from the Lieutenant Governor saying, is there anything else we can do to help bring this over? What do we need to do to get the compromises done? Because the commitment that the Lieutenant Governor and Governor Baker have starts with their role as municipal officials. And I think that's very important to remember, that they both served in their municipal governments, and this administration established the Community Compact Cabinet with the Lieutenant Governor as the lead, and saying that it's important that the relationship between the Commonwealth and our cities and towns needs to be strong and it needs to be consistent. And in order to do that, we need to have best practices, we need to share the way that we do business, and we need to invest in those things that are most important. As we know, most of our local services are provided at the local level. So things like local aid, discretionary local aid, are very important. And this administration has had a commitment through all three budgets to grow local aid at the same rate of growth of revenues in the Commonwealth. And when we've had some budget tightenings like we had in the last couple of cycles, and we had to make some budget reductions, and the governor issued 9C cuts, they did not seek to reduce local government aid. That was a priority and a commitment that's been kept through all of these budgets. And so I want to thank the administration for those commitments. And specifically here, one part of this compact in Mashpee is around your emergency management plan. And in my previous role as Citizen Corps Director for the County Sheriff, Mashpee was one of the first communities to establish a community emergency response team and to integrate that into the emergency planning and to use your senior citizen volunteers from your triad program. Your town manager now at one point was your police chief and oversaw that triad program. And so Mashpee's commitment to expand and to engage the citizenry in emergency management was important. And now you can share some of those best practices as you update your plan with other cities and towns in the Commonwealth. So Lieutenant Governor, I want to thank you for your commitment. This will be the circle in my district. All of our communities in the 3rd Barnstable District will have signed community compacts, and we look forward to having the recognition with the Commonwealth, not only for this investment, but as we apply for future state grants, we'll have that sort of leg up on communities that have not signed community compacts. And I would be remiss if I didn't mention that we're still working hard on Willswork Road, which is South Cape Beach. We have an environmental bond bill earmark, and I know there's a lot of priorities, and we had a public safety issue with a fire out there this year, and we just want to make sure that we keep bringing that to the top of the pile for release of the environmental bond bill so that folks that recreate and enjoy not only Cowley's Beach, but the rest of South Cape Beach have that investment and have this public safety necessary. So,
Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you. Would you like
Thank
to?
you very much for coming down.
All right, thank you.
And so it was very exciting to have the Lieutenant Governor here today in Mashpee, Mashpee being one of the towns in the 3rd Barnstable District. All of the towns now in my district have signed community compacts. The Lieutenant Governor as well as Governor Baker were selectmen in their previous elected official roles, and so for them to be here and emphasizing the importance of the towns working in cooperation with the state. It's an exciting time for Mashpee. I know we also had the opportunity to speak to the Lieutenant Governor about other priorities outside of the community compact, and so having her here and being able to speak directly to the selectmen and to the town manager allows her to be able to go back to Boston and hear the concerns directly from the local officials. So we're so glad to have her here today, and we look forward to having her back in the future when we complete the work of the compact.